Hey, what's going on, guys? Andrew Fillion here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about bulk season. So, it's the day after Thanksgiving, or at least it is when I started filming this. Hopefully, that's true for you guys too. But in any case, with Thanksgiving being over, for a lot of lifters out there, that means it's either day one of bulk season or it means bulk season's already in full swing. In any case, I want to set you guys up for success. So I'm going to go over 3 things that you absolutely must be doing if you decide to do a bulk. And on top of that, to wrap up the video, I'm going to be talking about whether you should be bulking at all, who it's for, who it's not for. I'm going to answer all of these questions at the end, so stick around because I will cover everything. Now, when it comes to the diet is pretty flexible. On a bulk, it is true that you can pretty much get away with eating anything, but that doesn't mean it's going to translate to success in the gym. There's still things that we want to make sure that we're doing if we want to succeed. So to kick things off, I want you guys to be maintaining your electrolytes. So I'm going to show you guys right here. I've got a liter jug. I've got my salt. The label says sea salt. I put Himalayan in there because I like the shaker. And over here, we've got potassium. This is very important if you're on a cut. You want to be having 2 grams of salt and 500 milligrams of potassium for every liter of water. Now, on a bulk, you can kind of eyeball it. The numbers are not as significant, but you still need to be maintaining electrolytes. So I don't care how much carbs you had the night before. If your electrolytes are out of whack, your performance in the gym is not going to be very good. So no matter what, before working out, you want to make sure that you've had either a liter or at least close to it, and make sure there's enough salt and potassium in your water that you're getting all the electrolytes before the workout starts. Because when you're on a bulk, the whole point of bulking is to get stronger. And getting stronger, you've got to have really solid foundations. It's kind of like a revolving windmill. You know, you train hard and then you recuperate, and you train hard and you recuperate. If you're not training hard because your electrolytes are out of whack, it doesn't matter how much food you eat at night. You're not going to get stronger. You're just going to get fatter. Can't say it enough times. You got to make sure you're getting these electrolytes and have them firing off at all times, especially before the workout. Once you've started the workout, you're basically on rails. Whatever you do while you're working out isn't going to change things that much. You need to have the electrolytes before going to the gym. So just make sure you do that. Thing number 2, and the reason I split these up is because electrolytes and water go together like peanut butter and jelly, but they're not the same thing. They're not identical, right? So you could have your salt and your potassium, you could put it on your hand, throw it back and eat it. It's not going to do a whole lot without the water. The water is used to shuttle nutrients around the body. That being said, if you drink an incredible amount of water, but you don't have any nutrients to shuttle, the water is going to go through your system, say, we got nothing to move. And you're going to end up peeing it out. And when you pee, you're actually going to be peeing out some of the electrolytes already in your system, which means you actually got a net loss of electrolytes if you only drink water. They all need to be combined because everything about a bulk is about the training. Make sure your training is on top before you even get to the gym. Make sure you are excellently hydrated. Water, salt, potassium, magnesium. You got to have all these things before you get there. One little caveat I will mention is that a lot of the carbohydrates that you're going to be eating on a bulk will have potassium in it already. So that's probably not the most important thing for you to be having, but the salt definitely is, and especially when you're having it with water. It's good to just have all of these things coming in at the same time so that you can get the best bang for your buck when you're in the actual gym performing, which I'm going to lead into in just a second here. But before I do that, I do want to cap off on the water. It's very important when you're drinking water to understand tap water and distilled water, or any other water that kind of goes through a filtration system, it's stripped of all the minerals.
Not enough minerals.
So you need the minerals in the water, or else the water enters your kidneys. It's like, oop, not needed, I'm out of here. Then you end up pissing it out. So you need to make sure that you've got something in your water. Don't just drink plain tap water. If you're in a situation where, there's like a water fountain or whatever, make sure your bottle already has a little bit of salt in it so that when you add the water, it'll, mix up. Otherwise, you're just going to end up in a situation where you're drinking fluids, but you're not actually getting hydrated. So I don't see a lot of influencers talking about this. I just make sure almost all my videos I mention, you got to have your potassium, salts, and your waters. Get the three of them combined, you're good. Now let's get into the actual training topic, okay? This is point number 3. Your bulk is pointless if the intensity is not there, okay? Most people that are in the gym, especially if it's their first or their second year of training, they don't really understand just how intense is. If you're new to lifting, you probably don't need to be bulking because you're not training hard enough to need the food. When you go into the gym and you train as hard as you possibly can, you will run into a point where you require food to keep going. You will not be able to continue progressing without food. A lot of people don't get to this point until they've already been lifting weights for probably a year minimum, maybe 2. So if you're just starting out, just go to the gym and work out, improve. But shoving in calories as a rookie, you're just going to get chunky because you're not actually training as hard as you possibly could. And it makes sense. If you're new, you're not going to know how to do some of these things. Like you gotta walk before you can run, right? Like you don't just walk into a college course and take the capstone project, right? Training's the same way. If you're new to the gym, you probably don't need to be bulking. But if you're in the gym, you need to train as intensely as possible, especially when your calories are high. Now, there's something I want you guys to think about when you're in the gym. If you've got the high calories and you're in the middle of the set, ask yourself, is this really as hard as I could go? Did I really eat all of that food just to go to this level? When the exercise starts to produce discomfort, that's not the end of the set. That's like halfway. You need to find ways to mentally get through these really intense, hard sets, especially if you're going with high rep, high volume. I'll give you guys a quick example of what I do if I'm doing, say, incline press. I incline press as many reps as I can get, and then I have a spotter. I'll grab anyone who's around me, doesn't matter. I'll say, hey, look, I could use some help doing some negatives. So they'll stand behind me while I do my bench. I fail on my own, and then I ask them to basically row the weight off me for another 3 or 4 reps so that I am going beyond failure every set. That's something that I'm doing while I bulk, and that's just an example for chest. I got examples like this for all different exercises. Like, for example, if you're doing pull-ups, you want to superset that with an assisted pull-up where once you're totally fried out, you hang on the bar and you let the bar pull your body down to the ground. And then you step up off the assisted pull-up machine. The foot pedals go all the way back up. Then you stand back on and you drop again. These are absolutely brutal. I challenge you guys to try them. There's a lot of fun if you get really into it. But that's the kind of mentality you need to have on a bulk. If you're bulking, you got to have the training intensity. Otherwise, you're just going to get fat. All the extra calories are not going to get used just because you eat them. You got to stimulate that fatigue, get that fatigue growing and say, yes, I need new muscle to grow. So you're basically putting your body through incredible amounts of stress when you're on a bulk cycle, right? Otherwise, you're just going to end up getting fluffy and no new muscle is really going to be gained. In order to put on new muscle, you must convince the body that it's going to die if it doesn't. That's what it takes to get it like a super awesome bulk. You want to have that combination. You want to make sure you're going into the gym very well hydrated with your electrolytes. Water is not going to cut it. It's got to be water, salt, potassium. You get the 3, put it in your drink. Don't care if it tastes bad. You get used to it. Drink that before the gym, like 2 or 3 hours. Make sure that before you get into the gym for your first set, your piss has to be clear. Hydrate, 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 hydrate. Then the training intensity. After that, doesn't really matter too much. Just eat food beyond your maintenance. If you get a little fluffy, you can always cut. And the better you get at cutting, the easier it gets to do another cut. I'll probably myself do a mini cut at the midway point of December, early January, 2-3 week cut to kind of cut back some of the fat that I put on while bulking. Then I'll continue bulking until I'm ready for my spring cut. That's how I'm going to do it. Now, who is bulking for? Bulking is for advanced athletes that need to push things to the next level. And you can't grow indefinitely on a maintenance plan unless you are super specific with having calories, maybe 200 or 300 above your maintenance for months at a time, which in my opinion is just not practical. I mean, how many of us are really counting calories every time we're in a restaurant? I just don't think it's feasible. To me, it doesn't make sense. If you're going to bulk, just do a bulk. Do a real bulk and then cut. You do a real bulk and then you cut. But if you want to bulk, you need to make sure that you already have enough understanding of how to build muscle, how to get strong in the gym. If you don't do that first, you're going to gain weight, and it's not going to be weight that is useful to you. Bulking is not for new athletes. Bulking is not for people that are just trying to look a little bit better for their dating profile or whatever. Bulking is for people that want to get serious. If that's not you, that's okay. You can just do a cut and get lean, and that's fine. And that's my recommendation. So I don't think most people need to be bulking. But if you want to bulk, if this is something you're into, you want to see how far you can take things, I'll never say no to that. So make sure you've got your water and your minerals. Training as absolutely hard as you possibly can. Don't cut corners. Make sure the range of motion is very good. Full concentric, full eccentric. Make sure you do static holds at each end. So like if you're benching, boom, concentric, static hold, eccentric, static hold. You want to make sure your sets are very difficult, but also don't ego lift. Don't just add weight to add weight. You need to get the full range, the full stretch. That's where a lot of the gains come from. So I'm going to start wrapping things up. But I do want to tell you guys, I've already had a video of me doing a chest day and a video of me doing a leg day. Both of those will be up at the end of the video that you can watch either one. I recommend both. Right click, new tab, check those out. Sometime this week, I'm going to take you guys in. I'm going to film my arm and shoulders day. Once you see that, you're going to see my 3 primary workout days. I do a 6-day loop, chest back, shoulders, arms, legs, repeat, rest. That's my strategy. I'll show you guys all of that. By the end of this week, all of those will be out. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. If you have, I appreciate you. See you guys in a few days. Peace.